So, Dave, how's life?
Life is really good. I had a good day today so far.
Oh, good. What did you do?
Came in, got to the business early here, been interacting with lots of clients all day. I did an exceptional Facebook Live earlier.
Oh, really?
I had a good time with it. I had a really good time with it.
On a scale of 1 to awesome, how awesome was it?
It was pretty awesome plus.
Dang, awesome plus?
Awesome plus.
How does one become awesome plus?
Well, I think the first thing is you just go 3, 2, 1, go. That's the first thing. You can't prepare for awesome plus. You just have to lay down awesome plus.
This is true. Because if you try to plan awesome plus, it becomes awesome minus because you can't be awesome if you plan your awesomeness because then it's not real.
Yeah, between the lines, right? All the stuff out back, all that needs to come out, right? That's what makes it awesome. You can't do that and plan it.
That just doesn't make
So
sense.
anyways, one of the things that I put content out on Fridays is a Q&A, right? Just like what this one is.
Yeah.
And it was good. And so many people interacting, having fun, great questions. I love that.
Oh, there's nothing better than actual like interaction and going back and forth and talking with people and just being real, doing it in real time, where they're actually asking, you have questions because you're literally responding to what people need in the moment or when you get the questions. And if you can do that, that's ultimately how you figure out what everybody's needs are because now they're asking you specifically what they're wondering about. So it looks like we have good. I think this is, we do Fuck Yeah Fridays a lot. So this is like the Fuck Yeah Friday super awesome Q&A. And we're going to make this a Q&A every Friday. And you guys are going to, we're going to try to go on around 10:30 every Friday or 10 o'clock a.m. And if you guys can log on and ask questions and interact with us every Friday, we're going to make sure we do this. And we're going to make sure that the whole episode is devoted to questions. And so the more questions there are, the longer it'll be. We'll probably try to take around 10 questions an episode. And if we get more we don't get to answer, we'll spill it over the next one because nobody wants to sit here and watch a 2-hour-long live video.
We could actually do it for 2 hours.
It's true. We would do it for 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay. What's the first question?
So the first question is, what is influencer marketing? And so this is a good question because influencer marketing right now is incredibly cheap and it's incredibly easy to get into and it's incredibly powerful because you're essentially what influencer marketing is. You're taking someone who has a big network on like Instagram or Facebook or a local celebrity or YouTube or wherever they have a big following, and you're asking them to do things for you to ultimately siphon their network into yours and to build trust with their market into your market. And an influencer, high-level influencers are expensive. If someone has like 1 million followers or 50,000 plus or whatever, it's going to cost money to get them to have built something really big. But what I think you can do with influencers is utilize micro-influencers. So find someone who has like 1 to 10,000 followers on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever you're looking for it on, and have them ask them to start working with you. Get them on like your videos in your facility, get them on your content pieces, ask if they'll share your content. And in exchange, they should get your product or service for them to use so they can really be an advocate about it.
Yeah, and this goes back to old school sales where it's, you're not trying to make the sale today, you're trying to build a relationship and ultimately find influencers. And so in the social media and internet world, an influencer has followers. And, just approaching and trying to get them to share your stuff is probably not the best strategy because what's in it for them ultimately, and people that have big networks will charge you money to get into their network. And so you're not really looking for that. What you're looking for is to build a relationship. So what do you bring into the table? How can you nurture the relationship? It could take 2 years to nurture the relationship. So you strategy, strategy, and marketing strategy should be running all that stuff down, having organized, having follow-up strategies, and how you can actually work with some really good influencers out there, partner up with them. Just know that you need to bring value. Just because it makes sense to you because it's going to help you doesn't mean that it makes sense to them. So work hard, put the work in, make it make sense to them. And usually that comes after you've built a relationship of some sort.
Yeah, exactly. And it is a big relationship-based game because you want to get a relationship with influencers who do care about what you're doing and who want to be part of what you're doing. And generally they have a bigger following than you do, so you want to push theirs into yours. But like Dave's saying, we always want to lead with value. If we lead with value and say, hey, I want to work together, what can we offer you to get you moving with us and talking about us and jumping on our podcast and all this stuff. And then once you get something established with them and they're excited to do it and they want to do it and they're excited to be part of what your community is, that's when you have an influencer who's going to be a big advocate for you. Because if there's two ways to do influencer style marketing, number one, you just pay someone to post stuff and there's not really an emotional connection with that. And number two is the more important one. Number two is you get them engulfed in your community and create that culture of common experience with them. And now they truly believe in what you do. And when they put it out, it's genuine and it's sincere. And people are going to be a lot more likely to actually want to interact with the sincerity of it.
That's right. Well, you nailed it right there. It has to be genuine and sincere. And the person that's talking about you has to believe in you. And then they're going to want to share it. Just like if you interact with somebody that has something that's so valuable to your community and you know it's going to be a big value add, you want to share it. You want to talk about it. You can't wait to talk about it. So you're trying to create that as a two-way street between influencers, with yourself being an influencer, bring value, right? And if you don't have any value, work on it, create value. And then ultimately, start with small fish, like Chandler said, micro-influencers. But things don't just happen. So you actually have to put the work in and you have to plan and strategize and build relationships and do all those things to get into the bigger influencers.
Exactly. And for me, I would rather have like 10,000 micro influencers because it's not going to cost me very much versus like 2 or 3 really big influencers. And usually the micro influencers are so embedded in their communities that they have a lot more power than a major one. So micro is a huge strategy to utilize and pick up. Let's see, what else do we have?
You want head of state.
Head of state. Next one, how can someone build the right Facebook business platform for their type of business? So really, your Facebook business platform comes down to your Facebook business page. And the follow-up to this question is, what are some things to do to not look like an amateur? So basically what you need to do is when you build your Facebook business platform, you need to have a content strategy developed that showcases your culture, who you are, the personalities of your staff, and the people inside your facility. And if you can do that, you're going to have a platform to where people start to really care about what you're doing. And I always tell everybody, you can't sell anything until you've built a base first. And then once you've built that base, then you can actually go out there and showcase everything on your Facebook page and be excited about everything.
Yeah, and that's the new world. That's the social media world. If you don't have a base, you actually don't have anyone listening. It's like opening the window and yelling out on a rainy, crappy day. There's nobody outside. Right? So you have to have an audience. People have to actually like what you're saying, which means, to make it look like you're a professional, produce content. Make it relative, interact. The key is to make the whole thing interactive, where they feel they're a part of what you're talking about and it relates to them. And ultimately you do that, and then you go, and you're not an amateur. And you don't have to be crazy with studios and production stuff and all that. You just have to be consistent and put a little effort into it. Don't put your camera on and have it be a big mess behind you. Right?
Yeah, I think more often than not, we get too worried about like what a professional platform looks like and what is the right strategy and what's the right pathway, because when it really comes down to it, there's the theoretical stuff that the talking heads are going to tell you to do and write blogs about. And then there's the practical stuff. So what you need to understand is you read about theory and understand theory and learn theory and then put that into practice in your specific business, because chances are it's going to be slightly different in the way that you're going to do it, the way your audience is going to interact with it, and the way your people are going to talk about it. And so you have to take into account there is no amateur in this type of stuff because there is no set in stone strategy. We have algorithms we kind of understand, but people really don't understand those either. Only really Facebook understands and the network. So when you go out there, it's really, I'm going to try this. I'm displaying my culture, my personality and everything. I'm making people like me. Did it work? Are things engaging? Are people excited about it? Are they talking about it? Yeah, yes. Okay. Keep doing it. No. Okay. What do we switch and modify to make it more engaging and more exciting? And that's what it is. It's really trial and error. So set your page up with like your standard stuff, like your logo on the little box, and then on the big background screen, you want to make sure that you have something on there that showcases the people behind what you do in your business, and probably people smiling and all that stuff. And then on your pictures, it's just generally you make sure you watermark it. So when it gets shared, your logo is always there. I always say watermark it in the square format. So even if they share it and it's a square, it gets on there. Same thing with videos. But in reality, there is no amateur in this kind of stuff. It's trial and error. Does this works for someone else? Does it work for me? Yes. Okay. No. All right. Let's try something else.
And there's a big world out there. So just know that if you're going to be successful at anything, business or anything, it's because you're going to be attracting people that like what you're saying and are into your services or what you're doing. The worst thing to do is try to be something you're not, and try to set something up or put out content and it's just not comfortable content. Certain people, like look at the Gary V's of the world, he just does his thing, and he swears and all that stuff. So I wouldn't recommend that. If you're working with me on this stuff, I'd say I wouldn't swear if I was you, but it could work for you. So it's, but I watch content where people are swearing, looks like they're trying to be maybe Gary Vee, and it doesn't work for them. And I'm listening to this going, this is awful, right? Because I think they're swearing just to swear, right?
Exactly. That's a big problem that you just brought up right there. That's a really good point. Don't try to fake the funk. Like you're not Gary Vee, so don't try to get out there and wave your hands everywhere. Be him. Be you. Yeah, wave your hands in the air like you just don't care. Hey, yo. Just you got to be you, like us. We're goofy, we're fun, we have a good time. We talk in this kind of stuff. Where the same way we are on here is how we are in everyday life and how we interact with people on a normal day-to-day basis. We don't have to put a video up and drop an F-bomb because we think we need to. If we make a video and we drop an F-bomb, it's because we did it because it's what we normally do. So it's being sincere. We always say, be real, be human. Then we live that. That's it. Don't try to fake the funk. Don't try to do something that you're not good at. Don't try to do things that you're not capable of doing. And don't try to be someone you're not, especially on social, because it comes out especially in videos. Like we got all this stuff. We're making a video. We put out our information and our personalities get expressed and people connect to that and people like it. Someone the other day told us this show we do is a good mixture of funny entertainment and quality information. And that's what we want it to be because that's who we are.
I was excited because I'm like, we actually have someone that is listening to us. This is amazing.
We have a listener.
It was great because we get good content out and we do whatever. He enjoys the whole thing. So that was good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Let's go on to the next question. How often should we be updating our Facebook audiences? So if you use a good audience and you have like a lookalike audience set up or a big audience from an email list or something that's actually working well, you don't necessarily, you can ride off an audience for a year or even longer sometimes. If you longer.
Yeah.
People. And the only way you can really tell is like when you're putting information out, are they still interacting with it? Are they still commenting? Are they still sharing it? Are they still talking about it? Are they coming in and telling you that they saw your content? And as long as that kind of stuff's happening, there's no reason to go in and change your audience. And there's no reason to go try to make a new one unless you have like an email list that quadrupled in size over and went from like 100,000 to 10 million. Then we could create a pretty solid audience with that. But otherwise, if it's still working and people are still commenting and interacting with it, there's no reason to adjust and change it.
With a long-term game, I mean, unless you have different programs or different things you're trying to do, but if it's still around the main concept of the business, if you create a good target audience, you're creating it based on your current customer base. Right? So say we go out and you match what you need to, and then, you have 300,000 people in your target audience. So the game now is over the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years, nurture those 300,000 people. You don't have to waste your time going after people that aren't a lot like the people that are your current clients. And so you're ultimately just looking for a percentage of the 300,000, and continue to produce content and put it in front of those people and boost and put it in front of those people. And eventually, those are the people with the greatest odds, if you are a gambler, I'm not a gambler, to come in and actually utilize your services and engage with you.
That's right. We had a comment with one of the gyms we were working with. they said that people are coming in their door and they're already talking about how they've watched their content and they've paid attention to what they're putting out and they know who they are. And that's what you want. And that's how you know it's working, because people are paying attention to it and they're continuously paying attention to it.
Yeah. And so I think like a question like that, I think the motivation behind a question like that probably comes from a like mindset where it's like, I want leads. Right? So now, okay, so this is what we did last month for leads. We created a target audience. We did this stuff. Now, next month, how do I get leads? And it's not, you don't need to recreate something new. And this is the, the thing that's really, that you can get stuck on. You don't need to always have the new thing that gets new leads. Build a foundation. Build that base. Nurture that base. It'll provide you with everything you need long term.
Exactly. And you have to trust the process and understand that if you build this solid base and you plan it strategically and you make sure that it's organized in a way that's going to help you 12, 24, 36 months from now, it's not going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be something where you get like leads tomorrow, but you're going to get really good leads 30, 60 days from now. And so you have to get out of the mindset that it's about like, how can I get business tomorrow, and get into the mindset of my marketing needs to be as important as my business strategies. And those strategies need to be implemented at the same time as my marketing. It needs to be a system that's constantly on and working and moving, that I'm always looking at, making sure that it's going in the right direction.
Yeah. And ultimately, here's a tip for that is, what we're talking about here is how do you communicate with your existing client base, and how do you feature them, talk to them like a two-way street, celebrate them, make them feel special and part of your story. So if you can do that, now it's just a matter of then sharing that experience with the target audience. So you're not trying to go out and talk to them specifically and say, if you're in a gym business that's overweight, that needs to get a smaller belt size, that can't fit in the car, come in for a thing. You're just trying to get those people to see other people like themselves and have them say, you know what, like I can do that. I want to be a part of what they have, right? So you don't need to have two different things and come up with tricks and all that stuff. Just do a really good job on the base.
Yeah, and it comes down to caring. How can I make this experience better for people? I'm paying attention when it's not, and when someone gives me negative feedback, I take it to heart and I think about it for weeks and weeks and weeks until I figure out a solution. Or if there's a problem, we're on it immediately and we're thinking about solutions. We're working through it. We're trying to figure out why it happened, and that's what you need. It's that culture of caring. People need to feel connected to you, and if they're not, you need to figure out why, like what happened.
They need to know, like what you just said. People need to know that. They need to know that. We wake up in the morning and we just generally want to help people, right? And if we don't, for some reason, it really bothers us. We go back and we do all this work to try to fix stuff and improve stuff, and we just never want it to ever happen. And so that's the stuff that the world and your clients, all that they need to see that and know that on a regular basis from you.
Exactly.
That's part of your story. It's part of your culture.
Yeah, it's part of listening and paying attention. And customer-centric business that we talk about all the time, or customer-driven, is a two-way conversation. It always has to be a two-way conversation. And people need to feel like you're actually listening, you're actually responding to feedback. And it's not feedback from 10 people is great, but feedback from one person is just as good. That one person is that one person that matters. That's going to talk to other people. That's going to stick with you forever. That's going to continuously buy your stuff. So it's not about volume in this game. It's about every single individual who follows your brand, every single individual who pays attention to what you do. Every single one of their opinions and comments matter.
Yep, everything. Even if you can't discredit it. I see that a lot. It's like a customer gives feedback and you go, oh, it's just this person.
Yeah.
But why, right? So there's just a lack of communication somewhere, and we used to have a saying where, we'd have all these meetings and do all this stuff. And then I'm like, and then we're the smartest people in the room, right? So we've changed the world in the meeting. Then if you can't actually go out and communicate it correctly and get people doing it, the whole thing was useless anyways, And so if you're not able to get them to do it, something has to dramatically change, right? So your approach is totally wrong. But ask them, if someone's not doing what you want and they're complaining or, they give you bad feedback, what can we do? Right? What will make it different? And so I think that's an important piece. And I think what you find is those types of people, and there's a reason they're like that. What they need is they need constant communication, right? So if you're out of communication with them, they'll find problems with you real quick. If you're every day asking them, how's everything going? How can I help you? How can I improve service? You'll be surprised how they'll give you the same, instead of negative energy, they'll be super positive in the opposite direction, bring you new business for days.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not constantly asking people how you can improve, and if you're not constantly trying to improve, you're going to get these people in a position to where they forget about why they signed up with you, why they cared about you, and why they jumped on with what you're doing in the first place. And if you get into that situation, they're not going to see the value in what you offer anymore. And so it's going to be incredibly difficult to keep them connected with your brand.
Yep.
Let's do the next one. Let's see. Posting on weekends is the question. So when you look at this one, you have to look at it from the mindset of the consumer. So when we think about the way people are operating, they're usually busy at work during the weekdays and doing all their things. But on the weekends, they're a little bit more free to pay attention to their social media and to check out whatever they're doing and to just enjoy the things they want to enjoy. And so your strategy should have some weekend posting, because you're going to be able to capture the people who are more aware of what's going on the weekends, because they're just not as busy and they're more loungy and they're able to watch videos with sound on them on the weekends versus videos with no sound on the weekdays because they're at work, trying not to work. So definitely include weekends in your strategy.
Absolutely. And then, depending on, I guess, how technical you are, or if you're working with any companies for it, it'll tell you, you can look and see when all your people are online. Like, when's the peak? When should you go on and talk to all the people? If you don't know, they are 9 a.m., 8 a.m., 12 noon, 5 at night. One of the most people that are in your audience actually available online to consume your stuff. And that could change, right? So, in August, it could be 8 in the morning on weekends. And in September, it could be 2 in the afternoon on weekends. But the data tells you that. And so you want to make sure that you're always up to speed on it and paying attention to it.
Exactly. So do it, pay attention when they're on, and enjoy it.
That's right. If you need help paying attention to when they're on, just reach out to us. We can help you with that.
Yeah, we'll show you how to use your analytics. I've been building out our relationship marketing school for the past couple months, and we have a big piece in there that's data analytics. And the school's grown into something that originally was going to be a small thing, but now it's this massive infrastructure-based school that I think is going to be a really cool value add for a lot of people who can't quite commit to like doing services with us, but still want to learn.
Yep.
Or they can just get everything on the show.
I like the show.
Yeah. So now the next question is competing media. They post Transformation Tuesday stuff. It's a gym on Tuesdays, but also have posted, they have another video that they want to go out on Tuesdays. Should they be on separate days? So I would say if you have something like a Transformation Tuesday that's really popular and a really powerful piece because it's a transformation of an actual person, and you're getting good engagement with that on a Tuesday, you want to test. So this is the idea behind why like science is so important in this. So you want to post Transformation Tuesday plus this other video on the same day and see what the engagement looks like. Did Transformation Tuesday get less? Yes. Okay, then take that video and post it on the weekends because you had a free day on the weekends to post it. Now you fill up another day. Right. Did it get more engagement or less? That's what your decision is. If it gets less, move it. If it gets more engagement, then for some reason that worked really well. So you just need to pay attention to it. And if you have another day of the week that you don't have anything going out on, then I would take that and actually post it on another day because you'd rather be able to distribute it out across the whole week versus trying to stack everything on one day.
Yeah. And back to the analytics, pay attention. So if you are going to post on the same day, because maybe you have 7 days of content going out, make sure you stagger it good enough. They can't be, you got to give a piece of content time to get organic reach. If you just dump something else on top of it, you're going to kill the reach of the thing. So you want to make sure you give it some time to get out there and people can actually consume it before you bury it with something else.
Yeah, and I always say good rule of thumb on Facebook especially is at least give about 3 hours between each post because you don't want to post, like Dave saying, things right on top of each other because number one, it's going to get flushed down. And number two, you're going to annoy people. And if you annoy people, they're going to unfollow you or unlike your brand. And so you want to avoid that. So Facebook and Instagram, about once every 3 hours is pretty adequate in terms of posting. Like Instagram stories, you can post as much as you want all day long. And Snapchat, Twitter, you can post as much as you want. But 3-hour rule applies to like Facebook and Instagram. All right, next question, YouTube. When you schedule a video, can you get the link prior to it actually being actually set up when it's scheduled to go out? Yes. So when you're posting the YouTube video, you'll have it in there and it'll show on the left-hand side, it'll say video will go live at this link. And so you have that link and you can take that link and use it. And so that's going to be right on the left-hand side. So when you schedule it, you do have the link available. Even when it's uploading and it's not quite uploaded yet, you'll still have that link available so you can pull it and use it.
That was easy.
Yeah, that was easy. We got one more. We got one more from Eli. He just posted
MDI Apparel.
MDI Apparel. If you want really good on-demand apparel and a full done-for-you service, they crush it.
Crush it. This show sponsored by MDI Apparel.
Yeah.
And Infusionsoft. You see how he slipped that in?
That was exciting. Hopefully he's watching.
High five out of you.
So he says, what I would like to learn is how we can use the micro-influencer strategy with members of the gyms they're working with. Most traditional apparel companies recruit what they call ambassadors and seem to be effective at it. If we could do the same, it would be huge because the profit margins are much higher for the owners. So if you want to do a micro-influencer with a gym, you have to approach this from two strategies. You have one way is to use the micro-influencers as the members in the gym who are like the most outward and the most talkative and the ones who are just there and willing to wear the apparel and post about it and talk about it with the other members and all of that good stuff. But the second strategy you can use for micro-influencers is find someone in that local community who maybe not even attached to the gym who will wear that stuff and who will talk about that stuff, who has a really big following that everybody knows. Maybe you have like a fitness celebrity that everybody knows, or maybe you have some sort of political figure that everybody knows and follows. But if you can get someone outside of that who's in a micro-influencer position, like 10,000 followers or less, even like the Lululemon store talking about your stuff would be good. Because those people in there are paid to go in gyms and actually interact. So it can be in your community or outside your community, and you want to leverage one or the other. I would almost leverage someone outside my community, because what that's going to do is if we're trying to sell apparel in these gyms and you're leveraging someone outside the community to get that apparel not only in front of your members, but you're going to get it in front of the overall community as well, which is going to grow the revenue for that brand, that apparel brand, both inside and outside the gym.
So let me take that another step farther. So I know we're talking gyms because MDI does a lot of gym stuff. So two things on that is inside the gym, if you do a lot of like events and trying to do t-shirts and stuff, so an influencer should be how people look at your event and that would really help in that. So if you create, say, teams, right, there's 14 in the gym, those in charge of that should be influencer. So you know, maybe you need to get first, or let's go pushing it first. Team names of that shirt, whatever it is. Right? So instead of you not being able to look at it, the organization. Say you want a weight loss challenge that you're at work, right? You're going to do corporate shop the whole place to do this weight loss challenge. Reach out and get out. Let's say you have a store, right? So it could be whatever weight loss challenge. And everybody can only have a t-shirt for the challenge, right? And so you think about medical influencers and people in charge of the teams, and you can have to, you know, 34 floor as a team, or legal division as a team. Who's in charge of that? Make sure everybody's getting it here and all online and being ordered. So there's a lot of different ways to approach medical.
Yeah, and it's with apparel, you often see like high-level ambassadors with like a ton of followers promoting the apparel, which is important and helps a lot. But if you had like a group, like 10,000 micro-influencers around like the United States or whatever country you're trying to market to, pushing that stuff out in each one of their little micro communities, you're going to probably have a more cost-effective and a more powerful strategy to use. The hard part is connecting with all those people.
That's right.
Well, that's well, someone says the robot voice is back. Let's check. 1 second, Dave.
People. That's right.
Well, someone says the robot voice is back. Let's check. 1 second, Dave.
People. Sorry.
Dave, say stuff.
Say stuff. How about now?
1 second, Dave.
People. Sorry.
Dave, say stuff.
Say stuff. How about now?
Oh, you're fixed. Good news.
Oh, good.
So that was all our questions. If you guys...
Everybody needs special headsets if it goes robot voice. I just want to point this out. This is
Was that your
the
leg?
setup. That was my leg. I'm sitting up on a desk, right? Do a little spin here. There is lighting going on, cameras in the back.
It's pretty exciting.
Nice to set up. We're going to figure out what's going on, though, with that. It's not the mic, I can tell you that.
Yeah. I think we have too many tabs. We've realized we may have too many tabs open when we do this. So we had to close all 977 tabs we had running.
I dropped a bunch for today's. Well, I'll make sure I'll drop more of them and reboot before this one.
Yeah. So that was all our questions. This was also our longest broadcast in the history of the world. 30 minutes. Jeez. We've been on here.
I don't usually go this long, but this was a good one. Live Q&A Fridays. I think Fridays maybe we try to keep our content 20 minutes, mostly 10, just so it's consumable and we don't overdo it. Fridays we go live Q&A. This is the first time, so we do a lot of this in private groups, so we decided that we shouldn't do it in private groups. We should go live for the world. So
We're getting
yeah.
engagement. All right. So if you guys have questions before we log off, ask them now. And if you think of anything after the fact, ask us the questions after the fact, and then we'll answer them next Friday on next Friday's show. But make sure we shared this in 2 different groups as well. So if you're watching this, ask a question. I'll grab it. I'll pull it. I'll put it in our queue, and then we'll answer it. Good times. All right.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time. See ya. We don't know. Maybe.